Apple may have launched a new MacBook Pro last night, but if there's one figure in Apple's announcements that has pros scratching their heads, it's the tight limit on memory in these new machines. None of the 3 new Macs based on Apple Silicon, including the new MacBook Pro 13 inches, can be configured with more than 16 GB of RAM. By comparison, the older Intel models can be shipped with double that amount, while the MacBook Pro 16 inches can accommodate 64 GB, 4 times as much memory as there is in the latest MacBook Pro. That's led many on social media to question, why is Apple being so tight with memory on the new MacBook Pro? The MacBook Pro, based on Apple's M1 Silicon, has a different type of RAM to what's gone before. This is what Apple is branding unified memory, where the RAM is part of the same unit as the processor, the graphics chip and several other key components. This is called a system on a chip SoC, which is more commonly found in smartphones and tablets. As Apple describes it, all of those components can access the same data without copying it between multiple pools of memory, making the overall system more efficient. There is no separate allocation of memory for graphics and the CPU. They all share that one piece of high-performance unified memory. With everything sharing the one pool of memory, you might think that Apple would want to include more RAM, not less than before, but the reams of benchmarks Apple shared last night suggest the company is confident that even a limited allocation of RAM will outperform most equivalent PCs. We will have to wait for independent benchmarks to be carried out on the new Macs before anyone can verify those claims. The benchmark graphs that Apple showed in last night's keynote were extremely vague, not revealing which specific PCs or PC processors the comparisons were being made with. There's another reason Apple isn't taking its traditional approach of charging customers a hefty premium to include more RAM in their MacBooks. It can't. Currently, the M1 cannot support more than 16 GB of memory. This explains why Apple was reasonably cautious with its launch last night, largely restricting the new Apple Silicon to devices such as the MacBook Air and Mac Mini, which traditionally aren't used for highly demanding tasks. Powerhouse machines such as the MacBook Pro 16 inches, iMac Pro and Mac Pro are left on Intel processors, which don't have the 16 GB memory limit. Although Apple made lofty claims about the new device's ability to render 8K video and perform other intensive tasks, professionals looking for workstation-grade performance are unlikely to be swayed with such little memory on offer. The professional community might not have to wait too long, however. Bloomberg reports that Apple is currently developing a new Mac Pro based on Apple Silicon that is half the size of the current design, because of the increased power efficiency the new chips offer.